Hi, everybody. It's Katie Joe with Sovereign Soul Podcast, and I want to share with you today a little bit about the experience that I had when I was filming season 2 of Writer's Island. Um, the way that the Writer's Island is, a group of authors comes together on a beautiful, pristine private island in the British Virgin Islands. And in this setting, we go through spiritual processes from the time we wake up until the time we go to sleep, and we channel in and receive the messages of our creator that are then meant to be conveyed to the world. And really the message of the show is that God, if you use the word God, creator, universe, is still speaking, and are we listening? And so through our publisher, Kiera of JOA Publishing or Joan of Arc Publishing, she shows and sets the example that we are still here listening. And if we're willing to convey and share the messages, they will be given, they will be received, and they are offered. So as we were going through, I went through season 1 as an author and I did all of the processes. And then I was invited to come back as a mentor on season 2. So I had the opportunity to share what I do spiritually. So I was lucky and grateful to be able to bring the singing bowl for us to do sacred ceremony every single morning with the antique ancient singing bowls. All of the bowls that I specialize in are over 500 years old. And then I was working on people with the sound bowls and the singing bowls. But at one point in the afternoon, as we've gone through spiritual processes and the authors are writing, and when you're writing these stories, you're bringing up all of your past, you're paying your story, and it's quite emotional. And it can be really dysregulating because you're sharing your most vulnerable let's say sections, but your most vulnerable part of who you are and what you own. And so it can be really challenging and it's very courageous to do. And so as they're writing, my other sweet friend who was a mentor, we were asked to be available at this certain time during the day for the writers to come out. And as they did, we helped them celebrate. And one of the things, and in fact, Sarah said, I don't know what, do whatever you want to do. And so I'd been working with the bowls and helping people with singing bowls throughout the day. So I'd like to do something different. And I taught them what I call the Taurus breath. And the story of the Taurus breath is really special to me. And I actually share this story in my Pathway of the Sage Shamanic Teachings Shaman Manual. But this is the story. So I had purchased this drum from an amazing drum maker, and every Sunday morning I would go to the top of the hill down in southern Utah County, and I would watch the sunrise. At the time, I had been a single mom for a few years, and I was working 3 jobs. So I really only, and I was working 7 days a week, but I had Sunday mornings to myself. Usually my kids were at their dad's. So I would wake before the sun came up, and I would take my drum, and there was this hill that overlooked this pond. So I would go and I would sit on this hill, and I would drum as I would watch the sun come up. And if the sun came up, I would watch as the sun would cast out over the water, and it was so beautiful. And it would light up behind the mountains. The trees would ignite with their beautiful auras, and I would drum. And as I would drum, in my imagination, I would see this amazing, beautiful, um, stoic, compassionate Native American chief, indigenous chief, in spirit form, sitting at the base of this tree near me. And it was always in my imagination that this was there, but I just loved to feel like that's the way that it was. Well, in my daytime career, my 9 to 5 career, I worked at a fine jewelry store, a diamond store. And one day during the week, this older gentleman, very old, came in and he needed a watch repair. So as I was taking the watch in to be repaired, I was calculating its address, and I said, "Oh my goodness, you live really close to where I am every Sunday morning, playing my drum at this hillside overlooking the pond. I'm practically right next to your neighborhood." And he said to me, "Oh, you mean Chief Blackhawk's grave?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "Yes, that's where Chief Blackhawk is buried." And of course, I started to remember that every single time I'm there, I have this imaginary friend, the chief that sits by the tree. And the old man went on to explain that Chief Black Hawk, and that's not his name, that's the name that was given to him by white culture. His real name is Ntunga. I'm not sure even how to say it. He had been buried in the hills, but then some men had gone and dug up his body because he was a famous war chief, and it was then displayed at the Salt Lake City Latter-day Saint Museum. His body was, so people could come and pay. And it was only, I think, 50 or 60 years ago that the family of this chief asked for his body back and was able to get his body back. And it's so surreal to me that this even occurred, and that he was reburied on the hill. And as I had gone there to this pond every single morning, I had seen, a plaque, but so many parks have plaques, you just think it's a plaque about the park. And I didn't realize that it was actually the sacred site of this gentleman's burial, Chief Black Hawk Bone. And so when I started to go there now, I went there with a way deeper sense of reverence and respect than I ever had before, and also just gratitude. And I would still, quote unquote, see Chief Black Hawk sitting with me. And one day he came, he rose and stood next to me, and I was standing, and he taught me this breath. And I use this breath all of the time now. I watched and saw his spirit form do this, and now this is how I clear and anchor my breath. And I'll attach a video to this so you can kind of see some of the movements. And this will be featured in Writer's Island. They'll do a little clip because I began to teach all of the women on Writer's Island how to do that. And it was spectacular. We were on the edge of the cliff, facing the ocean with the wind coming from us, and we were pulling the energy in from the earth, through the heart, up to the sky, through the sky, out through the heart, and back down to the earth, creating this infinite flow of sky to earth and earth to sky, or Mother Earth, Father Sky, or our heroes, so above, as we move through, allowing the rays of getting through the earth, through the heart, through all of the world. And it was just one of the best experiences of being a writer in season 2. It was one of my favorite experiences. And I share about that story in season 2. I share about that story and how to use that breath in